This shit gotta stop. I really do not know what's going on right now when it comes to all of this black horror films that are centered in racism, but I'm going to give y'all a slight message, black folks. We really need to start changing our genres now and start looking into different genres because this shit is starting to get really ridiculous. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your girl here, Crow, coming in with Let's Be Honest in Crow's Corner, where we rant about books, movies, television series, everything and more. And I'm trying to keep a curveball and keep on the curb of everything and things like that, and trying to get into social media a little bit more, even though it seems like it's a migraine getting ready to happen. But I just peered out this show called Them, and it's on Amazon. And it's directed or written by, I believe, a lady named Lena Waithe. I'm personally don't know anything about these, about writers and screen showrunners and things like that. I really don't know about half of them too much, and I don't care. But this is a show that will be premiering April 9th. And Them is a horror show, I believe, about a black family integrating into a white neighborhood of Compton. And if anybody does not know the history of Compton and their integration, Compton was once a white neighborhood that when black people flooded in and integrated into the more later years, 1950s, and as pioneering started venturing out much more, white flight started happening where white people started moving into higher positions and places. So they moved pretty much out of the neighborhoods that they were accustomed to living to back when back when black people used to move in. So I'm going to give out a shout out to my girl Carrie and Yashu's Playground because a lot of what my notes and my rants are centered on are kind of based along the same ideologies as Yashu's Playground, and how we think it's similarly, slightly, sort of different. Sort of different and sort of the same. But let's talk about this show, Them. This show is so pretentiously idiocratic. It's stupid. It's dumb. I'm so sick of this shit. Now, mind you, I am Crow is I'm a huge horror fan. Crow is a huge horror fan. Straight real. I am a huge horror fan. I like everything from mundane movies of Pumpkinhead to really fucked up fake snuff films like August Underground. I mean, I like horror. I love horror, and I do love the obvious um presence that black people have in black horror. I love how black horror has adapted itself in so many ways. Everything from Tales from the Hood, all the way to Candyman, all the way to, Antebellum, even though Antebellum was stupid as fuck. I mean, I just like how we've adapted horror. And I know everybody right now is on this hot shit because of what Jordan Peele did with Get Out. Every black person so far is on this Jordan Peele shit and looking at Jordan Peele as the master of horror, of black horror and satire and hidden imagery within his work. It's obvious that he produced that failure flop of he was executive producer of the flop Lovecraft Country. But I need to get something off my chest. As a black queer woman, I have to get something off my chest. And me and Yashu have talked about it at certain points in time with amongst each other in the Discord, that Crow's Corner Discord. Check that out, the link below. And we've talked about certain things, and the things that we've talked about is the lack of imagination of Black folks. And this show, Them, is that lack of imagination. Can we please, for the love of fucking God, stop doing these horror, Jim Crow ass, racist ass fucking films? Can we stop doing that? Black America, can we stop doing that? You know, you gotta understand. I'm not trying to slow down anybody's progression, but I'm looking at a trend here. Ever since Get Out came out, I'm looking at a trend. You had us. Now we have them now. What are we gonna have now? We, they, she, he, me too? Dora Fossilatido? I mean, what is going on here? And the thing is, time and time and time of fucking again, it's always centered in racial old Jim Crow or Southern slave horror. I am so done with this. Even though Get Out wasn't slave Jim Crow horror, but it still was like, oh my fucking God. I'm so done with this, Black folks. See, let me tell you something right now. I know that this is a much more easier situation to relate to, but don't screw up history any more than what it needs to be with this mess. History itself and the Black American experience is a horror story within itself. All you have to do is just flip open a book of a slave getting there and their welts on their back from the beatings that they've received from their their white slave masters. So I need to calm down because I'm misspeaking. But I don't need to see that being played over and over and over again. It's like this is so boring now. I'm not going to take anything away from Them by this Lena lady, because the reason of it is I'm still going to watch it because I'm here to support and I'm here to do that. But I am so done with this shit. This might be the last one I'm watching because I'm so sick of it at this point. Black people, we right now are in a very wonderful but vulnerable position right now within the film industry. White people are coming to us, or we're coming to them and getting hired for jobs because white people in Hollywood have nothing better to do. They have all ran out of ideas. Why do you think we keep seeing remakes over and over again that are horribly fucking done? Because white people have ran out of ideas for themselves. So they're looking to Black people and saying, okay, since you keep complaining that we don't put enough Black people in for representation, here, have the floor. They're telling people like Misha Green, here, have the floor. They're telling people like Jordan Peele, here, have the floor. They're telling people like this to here, have the floor. I don't know if Lena Waithe is Black, but if she is, they're saying to her, here, have the floor, do what you need to do. Tell us the Black experience and the Black representation that you always whine to us about. The white people in productions are literally saying that right now. But you know what we keep telling them with these shows like Them, Us, and in these shows and movies like Them, Us, He, They, She, Do, Do-Re-Mi, Fa-Sol-La-Ti-Do? We keep telling them with these repeat in the past horror shows that this is all we can do. We cannot envision ourselves as anything more. And therefore, white people don't feel threatened by that, boo-boo. They don't feel threatened by that. White liberals don't feel threatened by that because they're like, oh, well, we gave them the platform and this is all they keep doing. They're not a threat. We can still keep not representing you guys because we've given you the floor to do what you need to do and you have not expanded yourself. This is why I think black showrunners and movie directors and screenwriters, you need to start looking into black books that are written by black people and start learning how to adapt them into shows. And this goes on to say that this is the same bullshit that happens to everyday African American people, which is black folks not supporting their own more than what you think. Why is it Jordan Peele or Misha Green fucking around with, Evan Winters, Rage of the Dragons? Why aren't they fucking around with, fucking around with with the fifth season by Jemison? Why NK Jemison? Why aren't they fucking around and adapting these people's stories who are black writers, women of color, men of color? Why aren't they adapting these stories onto the screen or onto a show? Why aren't they doing that? They got their fucking foot in Hollywood or in HBO or wherever you want to call it, in the spotlight. They can literally make anything that they want so long as they try to get the rights from from the writers, and they produce a good, sound, sturdy script. But see, the thing of it is, I hate to say this about this black folks, and I hate to say this as a black woman. Black folks are fucking lazy. We're fucking lazy. Not all of us, but we're fucking lazy. Especially when it comes to this creative department. We're fucking lazy. Not all of us are lazy. I'm not talking about work or school or whatever. You get your grind on the way you did. But when it comes to this imaginative process, we are fucking lazy. We keep falling back on that old, oh yeah, slavery. Oh, let's put a horrible monster in the closet. And I understand the faucets and the beauty of black horror, but I think it's time that we let this shit go. I mean, like I said, white people are literally over here laughing at us because this is all we keep doing. Them, us, she, they. Lovecraft Country. We keep doing the same old stories over and over again. Just like Empire, just like fucking Power, just like all of it. It's the same shit. It's either black people got two things that all we want to watch is, all we want to do is either urban warfare and gangs or fucking black horror with slaves. Is there anything more that us black people need to do? I mean, why can't we do fantasy, sci-fi, superheroes? Why can we not do that? Why can we not create better things? There are some movies that are badass. There are some movies that are badass. And yes, a lot of white people did try to snuff us out of a lot of things. And it's a lot of things where Black Twitter, wherever you want to call it, Black Twitter or whatever, we not speaking up about no shit like this. I mean, like, I really love Fast Colors. I mean, it's all about 3 generations of black women with superpowers. That movie hit so many motherfucking check marks to me. And yes, the white production team and the white heads that rule over in Hollywood, they silenced that film. So a film like that can be made. But all of this bullshit where we're running around here supporting this dumbass narrative that, oh, we should always put horror with racist situations, and that's going to get us a damn show. Like, that's going to get us a show or a movie to be successful. No, because half of them are flops. Lovecraft Country is a flop. It's a flop. Purity out, purity simple. It's a fucking flop. Them might be good, but it might be a fucking flop. And I think the girl from Us is probably in that movie. I don't know. I gotta look, or in this show. I don't know, but I gotta look. She looks smaller, and the other one was taller. But they made the same little girl who looked dark, just like who's like dark skinned, just like the little girl on Us. Like the little girl on them and the little girl on us, I think they're two different people because the girl is kind of grown now. But they made her dark with the same little pigtails, the same little look, and have her staring into the closet and getting sucked in like, like us, where homegirl was in the fun house and she got trapped through in the mirror. I'm just like, oh my God, even your cinematography is the fucking same. This is so fucking lame. It looked lame. I know the shit is coming out next week, but it looked lame as fuck. Like it's so basic bitch. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm not trying to hate. I know niggas is out here saying, oh, well, it always be the main, it may be your main people that's always talking shit and don't want to see black progression. But I do want to see black progression. But I want to see us really taking shit seriously and taking our shot seriously. I don't know what white people are on. I mean, like I said, I think white people don't know how to make money for themselves in Hollywood no more. That's why they keep doing all these dumb remakes from the 90s that nobody don't give a fuck about. We really don't. I mean, like I said, there's some takeaways. The trailer on them, it looks very good. Them creepy ass white neighbors, they do look good. They crazy as hell, especially that one white girl with that big ass forehead that looked like Christina Ricci. She got a big ass forehead. I'm like, I know she gonna be a problem, but like I said, it's just a repeat of Jim Crow horror that I'm just not into. Like, I'm just not into that. I've already had enough traumatization with Lovecraft Country. Like I said, the title is just so basic as fuck. It's from Jordan Peele. Even though Jordan Peele is not producing any of this, but you could tell it's so Jordan Peele inspired. And I don't hate Jordan Peele. I actually love him. It's just that stop trying to do the same thing that he's doing because you're looking stupid at this damn point. Like I said, the black horror thing is starting to be played out. It's been played out for a minute. It's not as good as it used to be. I mean, I love Tales from the Hood, which was so dope. It told so much depth to a show. To a movie about the horrors of being black and from past to present. And I think it peaked very well back then enough. I mean, it peaked very well enough for me to be like, okay, I don't need to see this. I can watch that seriously later, nearly 30 years from now, and get everything that I need instead of watching them. I mean, the thing is just as well, what I'm just aggravated at is black people are always talking about representation with white creators, like they're just supposed to automatically do that. And I get it. We now have our platform and our will to speak out. But like I said, white people are not threatened by us in Hollywood, because you want to know why they're not threatened by us? They still have their little safe zone of fantasy and sci-fi and superheroes. White people still have their comfortability to give us a shot to be our own screenrunners and writers for our own show, and adapt books from our own show, because guess what? Because they don't feel threatened. Their little safe zone is protected. And let me tell you what their safe zone is. Their safe zones are Doctor Who. Their safe zones are Game of Thrones. Their safe zones are Captain America and all the above. That's their safe zone. That is their safe zone, where white people can still take comfort in knowing that their genres that they own, which is fantasy, sci-fi, and superheroes, will never really be challenged full throttle by black people. It's the same reason why Fast Colors was so quickly suppressed last year. It was so quickly suppressed because it started to step on the feet of white people, like I said, or of white people, which when you're stepping on white folks' foot, that's when you see the racial suppression starting to happen. And when you step on their foot, media wise, it means that you're going into genres that they normally feel safe at. So yeah, they'll let us keep doing these repeat ass slavery, antebellum, Tales from the Hood, Candyman, us, them bullshit. They'll keep letting us do it because it's no threat to them. It's just like, oh, let the little black people play in their little black corner. That's what it is for them. But how if black people really want to know how to stick it to white people, I mean, really want to know how to stick it to white people and make white people see that we have talent to write shows outside of urban drama of power and us, them, and she, and all that kind of stuff, we need to start getting into fantasy and sci-fi and pushing superheroes, new and old, that are black. We need to start pushing that. If I bet you $5 if we tell a goddamn story of a damn black Targaryen family that could ride dragons and large fucking ravens and big ass dire wolves and shit, and then it's set as some kind of some kind of fantasy kind of world, or if we say that black people are elves and magical wizards and shit like that, and call upon our dead ancestors to go fucking, stop a nigga that's like Sauron, I bet you $5 motherfucking dollars. I don't even bet you $5. I bet you everything I own, that white people would be doing nothing but nothing to shut that shit down because it affects their safe zone. See, you got to understand that once black people start expanding, as black people start expanding ourselves to different genres, that's when we can't be stopped. Running around and sticking to our own little corner, doing the same thing over and over again is not going to adapt us at any point. And like I said, I love being black, but we are too stagnant and set on one fucking way. We need to be on different ways and different thought processes in communicating and understanding each other's opinion, but still coming together as a community. And that's why white people still, unfortunately, I hate to say it, will still win. Because if you really look at white people, they don't care if their people are gay. They don't care if their people are binary, transsexual, whatever. They don't give a damn. They don't care if their people only want to explore sci-fi, fantasy, superhero, melodramatic, Victorian romance genres that compile into a movie or a show. They don't care, because the narrative is always going to still be there for white people, that white people will still be there for each other. They don't care if you're a queer or a trans person. Except for the rednecks and the hicks, which they're stupid. But still, even if they're the rednecks and the hicks, and they don't care about your lifestyle, they're still white. There's still a basic understanding that they're white, and they'll always support each other, even with the most stupidest shit, content-wise or non-content-wise, because they know that they still are the ruling class when it comes to media and other forms and factions of life. See, if black people really want to start doing something, we need to take this platform seriously. We need to black content creators, to black creators, like, I don't give a fuck if you're Tyler Perry or fucking Spike Lee. Start reading black fantasy books made by black authors. And start adapting. And see, this is the problem that makes me so angry. And this is why I say a bunch of y'all some fake ass woke fucking people. Because really, when you think about it, if you're so woke, you're so into this, you're so for this shit, why the fuck haven't you put out brilliant black authors and say, I want to adapt Evan Winter's Rage of the Dragons, or I want to adapt the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin? Why aren't black people, other black brothers and sisters that are in the Hollywood and film industry, saying they want to adapt these fucking books? That's just 2 books I'm just giving you. There's several more. And we're not talking about little ratchet fucking short stories like Tanisha got roaches in her crib, or I fucked my baby mama's dead cousin's ghost. Or no, we're not talking about those little ratchet little books that you get from Amazon for 59 cents. We're talking about real series novels of fantasy, sci-fi that still relate to the black experience, but still have it in its own set world. I mean, why aren't we doing shit like that? It's because black people don't give a fuck about each other more than what you think. But yet we're still trying to push this woke-driven narrative like we're in solidarity with each other. Yeah, I said it. And it translates so well onto film. It translates so well to these white producers who see us as jokes because we keep doing this. And yes, the producers could be very well the ones pulling the strings and telling these black screenwriters, "Oh, this is what sells. So keep doing this." But it's up to black folks and black showrunners and screenrunners to say, "No, fuck that. I don't give a fuck if it sells. I want to do an adaptation about this damn book." Or about this damn show, or about whatever idea that's coming in my head right now. I want to do it. I mean, seriously. And when black people start to get the narrative and start to know that we could do fantasy, we could do sci-fi, we could do superheroes, we could do all of this and be successful as screenrunners and showrunners, without the colorism, without the homophobia, without the everything. I mean, do everything that involves everybody. White people, you'll see a whole new different story on take on white folks. You'll see a whole different take. They may accept it, they may not. I'm 75% of me says that they won't accept it because, like I said, we'll be threatening their safe zones. White people have always found a safe zone in fantasy, sci-fi, and superheroes. They've always found it because it's a white savior complex in which their European history has falsely procurated to indoctrinate other masses of people of color, therefore sealing our imagination to think of anything better. But as for me as a black writer, I would not. I would be pushing the fucking ball. I really would. I would be pushing the damn ball. I understand black folks, we're laced in a reality that is very tough. We often write about our experiences as black people, and we put that into our art. But to be quite honest, we need to step away from our black trauma and our black personal trauma and start thinking a little bit with more, how do you call it? With more optimism, pretty much. We need to start thinking with more optimism about where we want to go with our content and our creation and what we want to do. Because if we don't, we're going to fucking blow this chance, and white people will probably never give us our own chance again. And even if we go make our own studios like Tyler Perry, we'll just still be producing out the same crap that will just still keep us down, still keep us depressed, still keep us within this weird victim mentality, still keep us within all of this mess that we don't need. And it will ultimately overall kill us and our black children. And I will say it like it is. If you don't give your child an opportunity to see on screen and to dream and to look at things that are different outside of black drama like Power and Them and Us and all these and Antebellum and all this kind of stuff, if we don't give our black children anything different out of the fantasy, the sci-fi, the superheroes, if we don't give our black children content as showrunners, creators, writers that they can adapt to, they can see, they can deal with, we're just repeating a cycle that's gonna just keep fucking us up and keeping us in the same place that we're at. And I really had to talk about some of these black showrunners and what's going on. I mean, I'm not getting the fact on how some of these black showrunners are literally sitting here not reading a fucking book at any fucking point. They're not reading a fucking book and saying, hey, I want to adapt this book. I mean, can somebody adapt Rage of the fucking Dragons, please? I mean, black people controlling dragons? What the fuck? That would literally, I'm going to tell you straight real, I don't even care. I think that if somebody did Rage of the Dragons or produced it or run it as a show or any other black content where it had to do with dragons and black folks and dragons and elves, I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones won't be a damn thing. It won't be a damn thing. It will probably have a big ass motherfucking rival. It really would. But it's because black people want to imagine themselves in any other position. And it's because black people rather listen to producers who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they rather not challenge. They rather not challenge the system or challenge the system that these white people were putting out to try to control a narrative on what Black people and showrunners create. But that's my thoughts. I cannot wait to watch the show Them. I still will watch it because like I said, I'm a sucker for horror. I hope Lena Waithe does well. And she doesn't do this colorism or homophobia mess. I really do hope that does work and it works out in a very wonderful way. But like I said, after watching that show, I don't think I'm gonna be doing any more Black content that has this same narrative of Jim Crow, racist slavery horror. I'm not. I'm not. Unfortunately, I just think I can't do it. But Black people, let's learn how to imagine ourselves in a much more different position, please, because the fate of our ideal in race and what it is, it depends on open minds. Fantasy and sci-fi and superheroes aren't just exclusively for white people. Read some books. You guys, some books by some Black content creators. You will not be disappointed. I know I wasn't. But thank you guys. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you to Yashu's Playground for the basis of notes and Black imagination. Thank you, Carrie, for editing. You always rock with this. I know I don't have my mic with me. I just had to really just grab the nearest thing that I could to just really just go in on this. But like I said, comment, like, subscribe. Everybody have a blessed day. I'll see you later. Bye.